Hare Krishna. So we continue our discussion on divine qualities from 16th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, in connection also with different pastimes of the Lord, especially. Sorry? No, thank you. I have my book here.
The verse are 16
16th chapter, verses 1 to 3.
1 to 3.
Yes. We are still in the first verse.
Yes.
So yesterday we discussed Bhava-samshuddhi, or existence, purification of our existence. And now we will discuss the next item, a divine quality, and it's jnana yoga vyavastiti, cultivating of spiritual knowledge. One may think that jnana yoga is many times despised by the devotees, but we should know what kind of jnana is despised by the devotees. It's about impersonal understanding of the Supreme, but not the knowledge itself. When in the definition of pure devotional service by Rupa Goswami, he explains anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmade navritam anukulena krishna nushilanam bhaktir uttama. And in this particular verse, Hare Krishna, in this particular verse, Rupa Goswami explains that the real problem for devotional service are material desires, and therefore it should be anya bilashita shunyam. Anya means other, and abhilasha means desire, and abhilashita means we can say tendency to desire. So this, we should be completely free of all tendencies to desire. And although we explained already, we have so many different desires, who can count them? Especially on the stage of sadhana, means we haven't attained perfection yet. So that means we still have some material desires in our heart. But this anya bilashita means that although there are some material desires in the heart, or maybe many material desires in the heart, the proper attitude of a devotee is not desiring them, or rather desiring to get rid of them. And this is proper attitude of a devotee. So one should not think, I'm a conditioned soul, so this verse anya bilashita shunyam jnana karmade navritam doesn't apply to me. We should know that this verse applies to us, and Rupa Goswami didn't write these definitions for Bhagavats because they don't need instruction, but the sadhaka are those sadhakas are those who need instruction. Yes. So therefore we should follow the path of pure devotional service. Although we may have not achieved it yet, but it's important to follow the path of pure devotional service, not mixed devotional service. We mentioned yesterday how Narottam Das Thakur explains that we shouldn't associate with materialists or mixed devotees also. So yes, so we shouldn't be one of the mixed devotees. Our goal is to achieve Krishna Prema, I assume. It is common goal. So whatever other desire of pleasing Krishna, because Prema is the desire to please Krishna, actually, and nothing else, is harmful for my bhakti. Therefore, we should give it up. And although it's so common that the devotees are praying to the Lord for different boons, even material boons, if we want to achieve our goal, we should give up such prayers. Yes. For example, prayers for health or for security or for anything else. Yes. Maybe you have heard, I don't know, that Nrsimhadev from Mayapur is famous as Dr. Nrsimhadev. Have you heard this? He have heard. Yes, Dr. Nrsimhadev. Because he's merciful and he cures devotees. Devotees are paying for some yagya for Lord Nrsimhadev, and they get cured. But yes, Lord Nrsimhadev is very merciful, and he fulfills the desires of his devotees. But he will not give prema bhakti with this prayerful mood for health, good husband, good wife, good relationship within the family, for peace in this world. Yes, these are all material desires, and the Lord may fulfill them, no problem, but it's offensive to the pure devotional service. Yes, and it will be great impediment in our progress to our desired goal. So we should understand that we should follow pure devotional service. Yes, the path of pure devotional service. So these are anya bilasha, other desires. But when he explains about jnana, Rupa Goswami doesn't say jnana karma shunyam, but he says jnana karmadya anavritam. Avritam means to cover something, and anavritam means it's not covered. So our bhakti shouldn't be covered by jnana or karma or yoga or adi means and etc. So by other things like yoga, like tapasya, and other endeavors for some perfection. That means that we should not reject them, but we should be very careful that they don't cover our bhakti. And therefore, I'm stressing so much for these qualities that we don't practice them separately from bhakti. Because if we try to become a good person according to these qualities, without focusing on satisfying Krishna, it would be jnana avrita. Because goodness is the cause of jnana and happiness. And so by understanding what is good and what is bad, this is jnana, and that we are not this body and so on, this is also jnana. We may practice certain qualities with the desire to be a better person, or to be that I can live peacefully with other devotees, even if I live in ashram, for example, or that I can have better relationship with any human being. So if this is my focus on acquiring different qualities, I have missed my goal again. This is jnana avrita, covering of jnana, and it's impediment to my bhakti. So always should be my focus bhakti, not anything else. So that doesn't mean that we disregard these teachings of Krishna about the qualities. Quite the opposite, because Krishna himself explained them, that they are godly qualities, divine qualities. We know from Krishna himself that this is pleasing to him. Yes. Otherwise, why he would explain this? It would be useless to explain such a thing. So yes, these qualities are pleasing to him. So we try to acquire them to please him, not to be good person ourselves, but to please Krishna. And when I see my imperfections and impurities in my heart, and I can see how far I am away from these qualities, I beg Krishna, please help me. I'm helpless to please you. Actually, how can I please you if you will not help me? So it's impossible for me. I'm full of impurities. The very fact that I have this body is proof that I'm full of impurities. Yes. So this jnana yoga vyavastiti, acquiring spiritual knowledge, is extremely important, because by acquiring knowledge, we know what is pleasing to Krishna and what is displeasing to Krishna. Yes. Because we can hear many times that this jnana is not important. But jnana, proper jnana, is natural also side effect of bhakti. Yeah. Yes. Vasudeva Bhagavati bhakti-yoga prayojita janayate shu vairagyam jnanam chayat ahaitukam. Yes. So if we perform bhakti properly, we'll gain knowledge by Krishna's mercy himself. So therefore we should know many things in devotional service, and the most important aspect of this knowledge is to please Krishna again. So this is the whole focus point of any our activity, should be to please Krishna. So from time immemorial, different sages and those who try to achieve any success have undergone some spiritual training and teachings. And Prabhupada also, he has put so much effort and struggle to write his books. And of course, whatever he wrote, we can say it's jnana. It's knowledge. It's not something detached from our understanding. But it's jnana, it's teaching. You should live like this. You should follow this process. And the process is such and such and such. And this is jnana. So jnana is not something we would reject, but the jnana is something that we should accept, but shouldn't cover our bhakti. And that is the message that we should remember all the time. So, for example, in Ram Lila, Ram himself accepted spiritual master. Jai Shri Radha Parvatishwar ki Jai, Shri Guru Nitai ki Jai, Jagannath Baldev Subhadramayi ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol. Yes. one day, Vishwamitra Muni came to the court of Maharaj Dasharatha. And Maharaj Dasharatha showed by his example how to properly receive such a great sage. And he put him on the throne, washed his feet, bowed down to him. Although he was very powerful king himself, and not just powerful king, his sons were the supreme personality of Godhead, all of them. Yes. So he was, one may say, properly, much more advanced than Vishwamitra Muni. But still, because of social position, he accepted him as a spiritual guide and preceptor and sage that is worthy of worship. So, and he served him in many ways, and he explained to him that practically everything that I have is yours. Just say your word and everything will be done. I can give you everything. And then Vishwamitra Muni said that he would like to have Ram to accompany him in the forest to fight against demons. And this was a death blow for Dasharatha, because he was completely attached to Ram, as a devotee should be, attached to the Lord. So, and he said, but he's a young boy, he's not trained yet properly. So this training should be applied for every one of us. Yes. He said, how can he fight against demons? And then he heard about that these demons were Maricha and Subhagu, who were connected with Ravana. So actually Ravan was creating disturbance indirectly to great sages. And who can fight against Ravana? No one can fight against Ravana. And Vishwamitra Muni wanted this fragile boy to fight against these terrible Rakshasas. Yes, but because this was his promise that he will give everything, so finally he had to submit, and he gave Ram. And Lakshman also went along. So along the way, they accepted many teachings from Vishwamitra Muni, and mantras and instructions. So it's very important for us also to diligently study Prabhupada's books. Once Prabhupada asked devotees, because they discussed how they distribute, how successfully they distribute his books. And he asked, but do you study them also? And turned out that the devotees didn't read regularly Prabhupada's books. And Prabhupada was not satisfied with this. And he stated that I wrote these books primarily for you, devotees, to study them and to understand them. Yes. You distribute some book and the guy is asking you, what's inside? I don't know, I don't read them. I just distribute them. It's craziness. So we should read books and cultivate spiritual knowledge. Cultivate spiritual knowledge. Not for the knowledge's sake, again, but to please Krishna. Yes, because what jnana means? Jnana means I know I'm not this body, and if I know that I'm not this body, why should I bother with the body? Yes. This was many times in these fanatical times mentioned. If someone was ill or feeling some weakness or anything, Prabhu, you're not this body. Yes, this is jnana, but it shouldn't cover our bhakti, our care for ourselves and for others. So if we understand we are not this body, why would we bother with the body? We would leave it where it is and not be concerned about it. We wouldn't eat, we wouldn't drink, we wouldn't care if the body is sleeping or is awake. Or we wouldn't do anything with the body. We would leave it there and go somewhere else. Yes. This is the understanding, I'm not this body. Yes. So devotee doesn't act in this way. Devotee knows I have been put in a certain situation by Lord's providence, by Lord's mercy. So I should act in certain circumstances according to Lord's will. Therefore, I should know the Lord's will. This is very important. So whatever is my position, I'm not the master of it. I'm a servant. I should understand. So if I'm a brahmachari, I've been put in such a position by the Lord's mercy. So I should act properly according to brahmacharya rules, not something in between something. And if I'm a grihasta, I'm a father or a mother, I should act according to my social role, because Krishna put me in such a position. Yes, this is very important to understand, because if I say I'm transcendental to this situation in which I'm living, and it's not so important to be exemplary in certain situation, then it's jnana avrita, because I take this situation in which I am living as something external. Of course it is external. We shouldn't take it as absolute. But I'm been put in such a position because of some purpose that Lord has with me. This should be our perception. Yes, Lord has put me in a certain position with some purpose, to serve Him in a proper way and to purify my existence in a certain way. So if I'm a grihasta, I should follow the principles of grihasta life. And if I'm a father, I should properly carry out the duties of a father and a husband. And if I'm a mother, I should properly carry out the duties of a mother. And we should know what are the proper duties of a mother and wife and a father and a husband from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, not from modern books. because this is very common even amongst devotees, that they try to acquire knowledge from modern writers, modern authors. Yes. And this is actually lack of faith in Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Yes. And the problem of modern world is that these roles of mother and father and husband and a wife are completely mixed. And since they are mixed, they're a recipe for misery. Yes. Then everything is upside down. Then the children think that they can command their parents. And a wife thinks that she might command her husband. And the husband thinks that he is not obliged to care for the family and provide everything for the family. Yes, or anything like this. Especially modern society is completely supportive to irresponsible men. Yes, irresponsible men are protected. No one blames them for anything. They can play with women and leave them alone after some time when they get bored with them, and they don't take care of them. Yes, this is modern way of living, and no one will blame you of anything if you live like this, really. No social punishment will be posed upon you by such a behavior. Yes, but because of this false idea of false women liberation, those who try to be responsible men, they are crushed by women, usually. Yes, because they think they can command their husbands. Yes, and then because everyone is educated in such a way that everything is equal, men education, women education, is everything equal, no difference, then men try to become weaker and weaker and weaker, and women are more and more masculine because they try to equalize them. And this is the outcome of modern education. And it's a recipe for destruction of society. And we can see that this is present in our society, complete destruction of society, destruction of values, destruction of everything. And therefore, it's so permeated our society with fear and anxiety, because there is no shelter anywhere. Home is no shelter anymore for anyone. Kids, I've heard that in France, the school is obligatory from the year of 3 years old, I've heard. Is it true? It's craziness. From 3 years old. So 3 years old children are torn from their mothers and put into some institution with other 3-year-olds. Yes. Which is completely unnatural, because natural for the child is to grow up in a diverse environment. Smaller children, children of same age, older children, grown up with everyone. But then suddenly he's put into the group of his own age, and therefore the whole society is wondering why there is a generation gap happens, because people are associating with the group of their own age, and this subculture, they create certain subculture, and they have feeling that no one understands them, and they don't understand the world of the adults, and therefore there is a generation gap created, and there is fight. Yes, no one respects anyone. They don't respect teachers, they don't respect parents, they don't respect any authority. So then in such an environment, even spiritual life becomes practically impossible. And no one is really serious in his spiritual pursuit, because everything is just a joke. There is no authority. Yes. Therefore, I follow 3 regulative principles, not 4. And Prahladananda Swami, this is Prahladananda Swami's joke. I follow 3 regulative principles: no meat, no fish, no eggs. Hare Krishna. Because there is no authority. So I'm my own authority. So I accept what is pleasing to my mind, and I reject what is displeasing to my mind. So in such an environment, who can spiritually progress? No one can spiritually progress. So we should take spiritual education very seriously. Very seriously. Yes. This is not jnana avrita. This is essential to understand bhakti. Yes. Because from time immemorial, we put ourselves in the center of our existence, and we want to live according to our desires. From time immemorial. So we were the center of any pursuit. But bhakti means to put ourselves out of the center and put Krishna in the center. Yes. So therefore, spiritual education is absolutely necessary to know what is good for devotional service, what is bad for devotional service. Therefore, so many books are there from our acharyas. Yes. Rupa Goswami, we are known as Rupanugas, the followers of Rupa Goswami. And he wrote many, many, many books, himself also, and Prabhupada also, in order to understand them. Yes. So we should understand at least 2 books of Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction and Nectar of Devotion. And therefore Prabhupada put so much effort in translating these 2 books of Rupa Goswami. So we should know. And Rupa Goswami begins the Nectar of Instruction. Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam, jihva vegam udara pasta vegam, etan veganyo vishaketa dira, sarvama vibam pritivim shashishyat. So first he speaks about this pushings or urges of the body. Yes, urges of the body. Yes, like Vachovegam, urge to speak. So this is so powerful urge. No one can. I'm observing lately this urge to speak. Everyone is speaking. If you go to a bus or a train, or you hear chatting all the time. Yes, this usual background sound is chatting wherever you come, even in devotional society. There is chatting all the time. It's urge to speak. We cannot give it up. So, therefore, it is recommended to engage it in Krishna service. The sages in previous times accepted Mauni Vrata. This very difficult vow of being silent. But then they tried to communicate in some other way. They had a slate with a chalk and they wrote or anything else. So yes, but we should understand that everything given by the Lord should be utilized for the Lord's service. So we can use this urge to speak, but for the Lord's pleasure. Again, so bhakti should be our focus in every regard. Maybe, of course, maybe we are not on this level yet to always focus that we use our tongue, we use our power to speech for the Lord's pleasure, but we should tend to, we should pray for. Yes, we should pray for. Therefore, personal instruction of Lord Chaitanya to Raghunath Das Goswami was Gramya kata nashunibe, gramya vartana kohibe. Yes. Don't hear gossip and don't speak it. Yes. This is very important to understand. Gramya kata, the village talk, village chat. Yes, and you should not engage in it. You should not engage in it. Yes. Manasa krodha vegam. Yes, krodha, and our mind is our deadly enemy. In Bhagavad-gītā it is explained it can be a friend if engaged in Krishna's service, but if we don't succeed in this, it's deadly enemy. And even if we turn it to our friend, it's not an ordinary friend, because we trust ordinary friend, but mind shouldn't be trusted at any time. It is explained in 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Nityam dadati kamasya chidramata anuyeraha yogina krita metrasya patyurjayeva pumshchali. It means that if one trusts the mind, he's like a husband of a prostitute who trusts his wife. He'll definitely be cheated. And Prabhupada translates a little bit, he broadens the translation a little bit, and he says that that lovers of such a wife will definitely kill the husband. So if we trust our mind at any stage, we are like this husband, foolish husband who trusts unchaste wife. Yes, so we shouldn't be like a foolish husband. And there are other comparison in Shastra, in Bhagavatam, that mind is like a wild beast, wild animal, ferocious animal, and a yogi, or one who tries to control the mind, is like a hunter who captures this ferocious beast, and therefore he should be vigilant all the time. If he is not careful, at any moment can this ferocious beast escape and tear the hunter apart. Yes. So we should be very careful about the mind. And krodha, anger, is the expression of our karma, as we discussed yesterday, of our material desires. And immediately when material desires are frustrated or something goes against our expectations, we become angry. If we consider that there is any chance of changing the situation in any way. If we are completely hopeless of changing anything, this reaction is not krodha, but depression. So there is so much depression in modern world because there is so many things that are against our desires, that are completely beyond our ability to change anything. So people are deeply depressed many times. Yes. So this is all consequence of lack of knowledge. Therefore, this jnana yoga vyavastiti, yoga itself means connection with the Lord. Yes, because this impersonal knowledge cannot be classified as yoga. So this impersonal jnana is not jnana yoga, is jnana kanda, not jnana yoga. Yoga means service, actually, connection with the Lord. And only bhakti is of any connection. There is no connection without bhakti. So we should know that this mind control and acquiring different qualities and getting knowledge is just to please the Lord. This should be our focus all the time. To please the Lord, to please the Lord, to please the Lord. And I should pray to the Lord, please help me to please you. Because I'm helpless. This should be one of the first lessons that we learn, that I'm helpless. Yes. Because immediately when I think that I'm in control, I'm in illusion. I'm in great illusion. When I accept the fact that I'm helpless, this is my only hope. But of course, although I recognize my helplessness, I should endeavor with all my strength, because I was given certain strength for certain purpose. Yes, and we should apply it. We should apply everything we were given. So we should apply our abilities. We should apply our knowledge. We should apply our circumstances in which we live with great responsibility. Yes, because none of this is ours. My knowledge, my intelligence, my abilities, my social role, nothing is ours. We're given, all these things were given to us with certain purpose. We should always have this vision. I was put in certain role for some purpose. Therefore, these blessings in our life are so important from great souls. And these blessings are not, please give me blessings, please give me blessings. And the person lifts his hand and yes, I'm blessed. This giving of blessings means to receive instruction. This is true blessing. And following instruction is true blessing. So, we were given certain instructions in life, and these are blessings. Yes. We can just imagine if we haven't received Prabhupada's instruction and a Guru's instruction, we would be doomed. So instruction is true blessing. So when Prabhupada and our Guru Maharaj says, follow four regulative principles and chant at least 16 rounds of Maha Mantra without offense, This is a blessing, and we should take it seriously. If we don't take such a blessing seriously, we'll lose it. We'll rob ourselves of blessings. And when we follow such instructions, we are really blessed. Yes. This should be our perception. Because our life depends on our perception. We can be blissful or completely miserable in any situation, in the same situation. We are creator of our own misery, and we are creator of our own bliss. This is our power. We can create hell or heaven from the same, exact the same situation. Yes. And in our power is to turn blessings into curses. But also it's in our power to turn curses into blessings, if we use it in proper way. Yes. So therefore this is an art of living. Bhakti-yoga is true art of living. Because it's about our consciousness. Therefore Prabhupada established Krishna consciousness movement, not even Krishna worship movement. Although we worship Krishna, but if we worship Krishna absent-mindedly, it's not proper worship. Yes. Or if we try to cheat Krishna by worshipping him, it's not proper worship. Because when Krishna came to Hastinapur to negotiate peace with Duryodhana and Dhritarashtra, Duryodhana accepted Krishna with utmost hospitality possible. No devotee can accept Krishna with such reception as Duryodhana accepted Krishna. He organized the Kirtan party group to accept Krishna with Kirtan, because he knew that Krishna loves Kirtan. Then he prepared perfect feast for Krishna, with the best food for Krishna. And he accepted Krishna on the new golden throne. Everything for Krishna. Yes. But Krishna didn't want to accept anything from Duryodhana, because he doesn't need anything. Yes. We should understand that spirit wants only love. Every spirit. And we are spark of spirit. So we are also interested only in love, in nothing else. Even the most ardent atheists are interested only in absolute love, love of Krishna. But they don't know it. And therefore they pursue their happiness in some chasing of some sparks of the absolute. Yes, of Krishna. So we should know how to turn curses into blessings, and use the blessings for developing what we really want to develop. This means pure, unalloyed love for Krishna, for Radha and Krishna. So this is Jnana Yoga Vyavastiti, cultivating spiritual knowledge. We cannot live with proper attitude without being instructed, and without accepting instructions in a proper mood and way, and without living in a proper mood and way according to our social position, with our current social position. Yes. Hare Krishna. Do you have any comment or question or doubt? Yes, please.
About material desires, we can often hear, and you said also that we have not to wish the material desires, actually in practical way, how is it possible not to wish the material desires besides to change it for higher taste, that it naturally change with sadhana and practice? How is possible to control it or not to wish when they are, and to be honest with ourselves? How is this possible?
It's not possible. It's not possible. Therefore we should pray to Krishna. And I'm stressing this prayerful mood all the time, that I'm helpless. It's not possible for me to give up these desires. Not even to give up the desires to material desires. Because many times we are afraid, if I give certain desire, I don't want to give up certain desire. I keep it as something very valuable. Yes, it's craziness. And maybe we know theoretically it's craziness, but still we cannot help ourselves and still want certain desires. We don't want to give them up. Therefore, one who is a devotee should pray to the Lord. Please help me give up these desires. Please help me to give up desires for material desires. Yes, I'm helpless. I'm completely helpless. But I know from Guru, Sadhu and Shastra that this is not beneficial for me. Maybe I haven't realized this. This is not beneficial for me. But please Krishna, help me. Help me. Yes. If I have such an attitude, this is proper way. Immediately when I say it's not harmful certain things, when we try to justify our weaknesses, then we fall away from the path of pure devotional service. But even though we are attached to some material desires and we don't really wish to give them up, but if we pray to the Lord, please help me purify my existence, help me understand that this is not good for me, these certain desires. This doesn't mean that we don't strive for certain goals in our life. We should understand this. This doesn't mean that we completely reject our pursuits in our life. Because we were given some abilities, we were given some inclinations in life with certain purpose, to use it for Krishna's service. So if I have inclination to study, we should go and study, but use this knowledge exclusively for Krishna, and money that I receive from certain engagements in this life to serve Krishna. So we shouldn't misunderstand this, that then we should give up any pursuit in our life if we are not on this level. Of course, if we are completely have no inclination to anything in this world, then we should just focus on activities of pure devotional service, and we should engage in them wholeheartedly. We shouldn't discourage also this mood of complete renunciation. It's good. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti-yoga. It is explained by Lord Chaitanya himself that this bhakti is the essence of vairagya, and we can give up the whole world for Krishna, no problem. We should give up whole world for Krishna. But as long as we have any inclination to act in this world, we should for service to Krishna, of course. And that should be our prayer. Krishna, please help me to serve you in any situation. Even though I pursue certain goals, let me purify my intentions. Let me purify my motivations. Yes. Always, we should be always in such a prayerful mood, as Narottam Das Thakur explains. I'm always afraid that I will not be able to give up all these obstacles to pure bhakti. Therefore, I pray constantly. So, we should always pray. Also pray constantly to Krishna. Please help me to give up these obstacles, to overcome these obstacles in my spiritual life. Is this okay? Hare Krishna. Anything else? Yes?
You were sharing this saying of Srila Prabhupada about studying the books, that it's meant for devotees. And wanted to hear from you your experience or your advice on studying the books of Srila Prabhupada, because sometimes, especially in temple, we may think that, okay, I participate to the class of Bhagavatam and that's it. I did my reading for the day. So what does it mean to study books of Srila Prabhupada more specifically?
Yes, we should study the books regularly. It's not listening to the class is very important. We can not skip it. It's essential for our spiritual life. Even if we cannot physically come to the class, we should hear it, the recording, if nothing else. But we should also read books and study them. And this study means that we try to live according to books. If we just read them, that means that we don't try to apply the teachings in our everyday life. So we should try to apply the teachings in our everyday life. So when we read about these qualities, for example, we try to live according to these qualities. Yes. And we can practice. Therefore, Krishna time and again stresses practice. Abhyasa yoga yuktana cetasa nanagamina paramam purusham divyam yati partana chintana. This abhyasa yoga means drill of our consciousness, like a military drill. Yes. So we should practice it. Whatever we read, we should practice. Yes. I haven't achieved this, but it's beneficial for me, so I should practice. And then it will come from the jnana level to vijnana level when we practice. Of course, we should try also to memorize things that we read. Therefore, there is a Latin proverb, repetitium est mater studiorum. Repeating is the mother of study, of learning. That means that we should read books again and again and again. So when we read the whole Bhagavatam, we shouldn't just tick, yes, I have read Bhagavatam. But I should immediately start to read Bhagavatam again. And also Bhagavad-gītā, again and again and again. And Chaitanya Charitamrita, again and again and again. At least these three books should be constantly read. Again and again and again. Yes. And also other books like Ishopanishad, Nectar of Instruction, Nectar of Devotion. These basic books most important books of spiritual understanding which should be read again and again and again. But especially Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gītā and Chaitanya Charitamrita. There should be not a day passed without reading them. And for whole life, not just for a certain period of time. We should read them again and again and again. Also other books, but never skip these three. Of course, first, if you haven't read them, first you go and read them all, one by one. But when you finish one, don't keep it aside. Start to read it again. Yes. And then you will remember. By constant reading, this is the best way to remember things. Yes. This is also my experience, personal. By constant reading, then I remember something. Otherwise, if you read something only once, you will forget it, definitely. Even if you read it twice, you will forget it. Yes. So certain instructions are repeated, even in Shastra, although in those times, whatever it was heard, it was remembered. But still some verses are repeated. There are two verses, half of verses repeated in Bhagavad-gītā. Yes. One is Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamayikam Sharanam Vraja. This part is repeated twice. Once in 9th chapter and once in 18th chapter. Yes. And the other one is how this it begins. Shriyo Swadharman Swagunaha Paradharmat Svanashritat. Yes, once in 3rd chapter and once in 18th chapter again. Yes, it's better to perform one's own work, even if imperfectly, than perfectly perform some others' work. So these two instructions are extremely important. Therefore Krishna repeats them twice. So we can see that this repeating, continuous reading is so important. Continuous acquiring knowledge. Yes. Never skip reading. Not a day should pass without reading. Therefore Prabhupada said you should read at least 3 hours in one statement. But 1 hour is minimum. Like chanting 16 rounds. This is bare minimum. This is to keep our head above the water, not to drown. Or like we have this idea of people in the concentration camp, those who survived, they were living on minimum. Yes. Or there is some minimum wage in the country prescribed, that at least such payment should be given to some worker. Not below this is forbidden, isn't it? Mm-hmm. It's also in French like this. Yes. So this is also the same principle. This is minimum, not maximum. We should strive to get some more. So more chanting, if possible. This is minimum, barely to survive. So this is should be our attitude in our studies also. Not to read just to tick. Yes, I have read an hour and put alarm clock. Or my standard is to at least read a verse per day or something. Or I don't have any standard. This shouldn't be our attitude. Our attitude should be to go deep in whatever we do. actually, to go deep, to grasp the essence. Because Krishna is Saragrahi, one who accepts the essence, accepts the heart. So this should be our attitude, to grasp the essence. Yes. Also in our studies. Hare Krishna. Yes.
So I will come back to the initial questions. Material science, material aspiration we have, and you also give this, we can engage some our inclination, but you have already achieved a lot of experience in realization most of the time. When we are Mataji and we have certain inclination, our society and parents and everyone is like, no, you shouldn't try to have a lot of higher aspiration. It will create a disturbance in your married life, or no, you should not aspire for higher education. So many things, even in Varnashram and Dharma, it's not recommended to women to aspire for, but we have some kind of inclination towards it, and everyone is kind of against, but it's like
For getting higher education, if I...
whatever it is, some kind of inclination, but society is not like
supportive.
And you understand the goal is not to achieve some material pursuits, it's to follow Krishna and obviously develop love for Krishna, but still we are at that level where we are not completely surrendered, and also nobody is like, you feel like I'm not supported on what my inspiration and what my aspiration is in that.
Yes. This is a very difficult question, actually. Not because of theory, but because of practice. When we embark some social position, in certain way of living, then this way of life carries along also certain responsibilities. So when I have a family and young children, then mother has always to be with their children. This is her sacrifice, because the whole life is sacrifice, actually. And father also, when he accepts a wife and children, he cannot mess with other women. It's also his sacrifice. Or he cannot hang out with his friends. This is also his sacrifice. And he has no time for other pursuits as he would like to have it. So when we are in a certain position, we should know what is proper and what is not. So best time for such studies and aspirations is before we get married, for example. Because after we get married, we have new responsibilities in life. This is very important to understand. Because if we neglect these responsibilities, this is disservice also to Krishna, and will create havoc in life of those who are dependent on us. If children don't get enough care from their mothers or fathers, they are greatly handicapped in their life. Greatly handicapped. And if any of the parents neglect their duties, they create havoc in the life of their children. And the foremost duty is, of course, spiritual duty. So mother and father should teach their children spiritual life even before they were conceived. Yes. And therefore there should be strict following of sadhana in the house, and mother should breastfeed their children along with chanting of the holy name. This is extremely important, and the holy name will enter the heart of a child through mother's milk, and it will go extremely deep in the heart. And children should be taught to chant the holy name, and the whole family should chant the holy name very strictly, very focused. No talking is allowed during our chanting. Or there should be morning and evening program with the whole family, and listening to classes together, chanting together, reading together. So if we live our life like this, then this is beneficial environment for Krishna consciousness. Then children will take Krishna consciousness as something completely normal, as everyday's food is everyday's sadhana. Yes. And everyone should be engaged also in deity worship at home. Of course, this takes a lot of time. We are very much busy with all these programs. So when we are married, it's very hard to embark something new. At least when the children are young. That means till they are at least 15 years old. It's difficult because we have so many responsibilities with them. Yes, and we shouldn't neglect these responsibilities because they are foremost. But before we get married, we can pursue these desires that we have and try to purify them with proper attitude. Yes, this is extremely important to understand, because otherwise in married life we will be frustrated and depressed, and we'll get feeling no one is supporting me and everyone disregards my desires. But we should properly enter the Grihastha ashram with proper consciousness and understanding, and willingly accept the sacrifice along with it. The problem of modern society, modern world, is that we want to extract enjoyment from everything we do, and we are not taught to sacrifice. But actually any ashram, therefore Prabhupada stressed this varnashram dharma, every ashram is a sacrifice. And also Krishna explained this in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad-gītā, yagyartat karmano nyatra lokayan karma bandhana tadartam vapi kaunteya mukta sangak samachara, that every work should be performed as a sacrifice for me. So that means whole life is sacrifice. So when we are children, we also have to sacrifice to live according to instruction of our parents. This is also sacrifice, especially if the parents are devotees. And when we study, then we sacrifice our time to enjoyment for studies. We should take our studies very seriously as a service again. And when we are brahmacharis, this is some type of sacrifice. And when we enter grihastha ashram, if someone enters grihastha ashram with the idea to enjoy, he will suffer terribly, guaranteed. Yes, this is my guarantee. Yes, he will suffer. Therefore, we should enter any ashram, or if we enter vanaprastha ashram just to get out of the responsibilities, that means to enjoy, we will suffer. Or we embark sannyasa to be recognized in society, or to have disciples, or anything like this. Any improper reason will suffer. And we fall down, most probably. And even if we don't, we'll suffer. So we should embark any situation in life with desire to sacrifice. Yes. Sacrifice sounds like poison. But it's poison in the beginning and nectar at the end, as Krishna explains in 18th chapter of Bhagavad-gītā. So yes, we should take life seriously, with desire to please Krishna. This should be our focus. And therefore, if we follow proper time in our life, it's most easy way. So when we are young and not engaged in some responsibilities of family life or anything like this, then we can pursue our studies. It's proper time for this. But when we married, then it's proper time for something else. And this should be put aside. And this is as a sacrifice again. And when we take this as a sacrifice for Krishna's pleasure, then it becomes can become, if we have proper attitude, a source of our bliss, deep satisfaction. Hare Krishna. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari.